everyone, Brew here. Today we're gonna do the Kreela Witch Arm guide for you guys as Spotlight. She's an Orc Legendary Champion and I recently acquired all 100 fragments needed for her. Good news is that even if you acquire 100, you can still keep acquiring fragments and summon her again if you really want to have two Kreela Witch's Arms. Guys, by the way, a very important fact about Kreela Witch Arm. I just found about this. Platinum didn't tell me this. I discovered it on my own. Her name, Kreela Witch Arm, is because her arm glows, so she's like a witch, or just her arm is a witch. The rest of it isn't a witch. I don't know what's happening, but I just discovered this and I'm like mind blown. Okay. Okay, guys. Kreela Witch Arm, she's a support legendary orc champion. There's not many reviews on it, so don't base your opinion on those reviews. I took her with an immunity set and speed set in the arena only. I didn't take her to the dungeons. In the dungeons, in my opinion, she needs a totally different build in terms of gear and then mastery build as well. So overall, guys, you're gonna see that I have 256 speed with an immunity set on, just so I can counter those torment teams, and also helps versus hegemon teams. Very important to have that speed and also the immunity set. The speed is so high because she needs to go right after my arbiter. This actually needs to go very much higher than what it actually is, because she needs to not get cut. When my arbiter boosts, there's a chance for enemies to go right after my arbiter, and because she has such a low speed, I think she needs about 290. I put it in that was Jedi's and Zombies calculator, and I think she needs 290. But yeah, 256 speed, and it still works fine versus most enemies. But yeah, the reason I have it at 256 is because I want to use her in a blender team, and blender teams work great with a champion that has an all ally attack skill. We're gonna look at the skills a bit later. Overall, I didn't focus on anything other than speed and accuracy. Accuracy being because she's got a fantastic A2 skill. So my stats are not that great here. I have flat stats gloves, but these are the best speed substat gloves I have right now in the immunity set. And also my chest plate is not 16, but it's accuracy, which is great for her, and an accuracy banner with just 8 speed there. I would like to have it in the double digits, but I just didn't have an accuracy banner with double digits speed. I just got rolled on flat defense there. Also level 12 ring and level 12 amulet. Nothing crazy on her gear. As I said before, guys, this build is mostly for a blender team, not really for dungeons, but I'm gonna take her in dungeons as well to see how she performs with this build in the dungeons as well. The skill she has, her skill build: A1 attacks when an enemy places a shield buff equal to 10% of this champion's max HP on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns. This is a great skill to have. Also a great skill to fully max out if you want to have that extra bit of protection or your lowest ally. Usually it's going to be like a cold heart. Usually it's going to be the squishiest damage dealing champions in your team. This is very good as an A1, and of course if you try to get her with HP percentage gear, this will be fantastic in the dungeons. So try to get almost about 220 accuracy, and then focus on HP percentage, in my opinion, if you want this to be the best kind of protection for that lowest HP ally. Next up, guys, is her A2. This is what I like the most, and this is what I'm using right now in the arena. Attacks one enemy, places stun debuff for 1 turn on the target that you select. 100% chance to apply the stun. Well, not 100% chance, but 100% chance in the books. There's always a very small chance that this does not apply. Not in terms of a weak hit, but I've noticed that there's some times that it does not land at all. So it's probably like a 95% chance. So not 100%, but around 95% chance. Has an 80% chance of teaming up with 3 random allies to attack a random enemy. So after you selectively stun a target, then Kreela will select a random target for the all ally attack to go on, and this really needs these 4 books to land on her A2. So it's an investment if you want to go for Kreela for a blender setup. And also I'm going to talk about more about A2 once we go to the gameplay part. So yeah, she needs at least 4 books if you get lucky. You don't need the 5th book, but it does help. You get this to 3 turns. It does help in terms of DPS. So overall, great skill because this is a guaranteed stun, except for the chance for a weak hit and the small chance that everyone has to not land their debuffs. So finally, her A3, she doesn't have a Nora. A War Weirding takes a 50% chance increased attack buff and a 30% increased critical rate buff on all allies for 3 turns, then attacks all enemies. A fantastic kind of boost to your team. 50% increased attack and 30% increased critical rate is huge on an attacker, and then she also does huge amount of damage with that AoE. I put some gear, not crazy gear on her, and I was seeing 40,000 crits without defense down and without a weekend. So I do believe that if we have defense down and weekend on her, this can actually do huge amounts, probably over 100k if you have both of those debuffs on enemies. So I think this is very good skill. The bad thing about her is that she is magic, so she won't work in all dungeons, especially the Fire Knight, where then all ally attack will be fantastic. She won't work, but she will work for Ice Golem and of course the Dragon, the best. Overall, the stun will not be landing with those weak hits in the Fire Knight, but the all ally attack will still work the same, and also her damage will work the same, just a bit reduced because of weak affinity, and also if you get a weak hit, this will be reduced damage. Next up, guys, we're looking at her masteries. The reason I have these masteries like they are is for PvP and only PvP, only for arena. Do not take this for going in the dungeons. In the dungeons, I would suggest to go for either War Master, depending on what kind of gear you have. I would suggest going full critical damage and critical rate on her, then go Helm Smasher or War Master if you really want that extra bit of guaranteed HP percentage damage on bosses. But Helm Smasher works just fine, I think, in my opinion, with her A3. But you need to have the books invested in her for that. War Master is just a guaranteed 60% chance to inflict 10% max HP. That's great. Or 4% of the target's max HP when attacking bosses. So instead of going the offense, full offense, I went for Eagle Eye. And the reason is that just that 50% extra accuracy. I use this to not really require masteries. Master Hexer and Spirit Haste doesn't really help at all in PvP, but the plus 50 accuracy really helped me out to get 284 accuracy. I just went accuracy route, then Lore of Steel to get that extra bit of speed from the speed set, the single speed set I have, and also Evil Eye in case the fight prolongs a bit, so that when she attacks with her A1, the target that she attacks has a reduced turn meter by 20%. Also, the offense tree is just some offense, extra offense through critical rate, critical damage, and then maybe if she gets a kill somehow, she gets plus 6 speed. So overall, her masteries are solely focused on a blender team. So guys, let's go over and see her in the arena. So for arena, I use a usual blender team. So this one's going to be a nice candidate for us to fight. A Torment and also a Longbeard there for Skull Crown. So I used to have Catacomb Counselor here instead of her, instead of Kreela. Now that I have Kreela, I use her instead. But the bad thing is this does not work on auto, and I'm going to show you what it means. It does not work on auto. The blender team does not work on auto, and it basically renders this a bit, not a blender team. It's not worth it if it's not fast. The blender team's whole reasoning about the blender team is fast. It nukes. You get a good, win ratio, and you farm those gold medals all the time, and you get that great hole going. So I'm just gonna press auto, and you're gonna see that she won't do her all ally attack. She will instead do her A3. Look at that A3. It did some nuking there, but that's not what I need. I need her to go with the all ally attack. Good thing here, the enemy team did not have enough burst to bring me down. So yeah, my team is almost down. Yeah, I just got very lucky in this fight. This is the only reason I won. This is why I don't use her in an auto. I don't press auto when I use her for arena, but she does work fantastically. So let's see here if we're gonna go second with her. Yeah, we went second. Arbiter was really close in taking her turn, so we're gonna target Arbiter with that A2. She's gonna get stunned, hopefully, if we pass the accuracy check. There we go with the stun, and then that all ally attack on a random target. So they happen to pick Skull Crown, and then I could just press auto after that. But that's it basically, guys. That's how you use her in a blender setup, and that's how I used her. I think she's fantastic in terms of that guaranteed stun. It's so clutch, and you just need a ton of accuracy. When I take that chest plate to 16 and that banner to 16, she's gonna get about another 40 to 50 accuracy, plus maybe some glyphs. 60 to 70 plus 60 to 70 accuracy. I'll take that to 350. That's, I think, always going to be great versus arbiters. Arbiters are usually built with just speed gear, very rarely with immunity gear, at least where I'm fighting in arena. So 350 accuracy is going to be enough for you to stun an arbiter. If you stun an arbiter, you pretty much have control of the fight in case something goes wrong. The bad thing about this is that she needs to be focusing her A2 on auto. I have already mentioned this to Plarium that she will be so much better if her A2 does work on auto first instead of her A3. I understand their reasoning behind having A3 work instead of A2 on an auto. It's just because it buffs, it gives a huge buff, it also nukes. So I'm also going to do a guide in the future and show how she works with, you know, all damage gear instead. So let's go. See, my damage wasn't enough here because of all the shields, but I think we'll manage to do it in the second round of damage. So yeah, there we go. Clear them. The blender setup works with her, it's fine, but you need to do it on manual, and that's what I don't like because yeah, I stop it here. I select Lissandra here. No stun there. So that was weird. No resist, but no stun, which meant I did not land the stun. It was weird. I think it's that very small percentage to not land it, or it's a resist and it doesn't show that it's actually resisted. So I'm curious about that. It happens a few times in arena so far, and when it doesn't say resisted, it makes me curious about how that works, since it's supposed to be 100% chance, and then it has the accuracy check. So there it is. Let's finish up this arena fight, and we're gonna go in the dungeons. I'm gonna see how she works in the dungeons with the gear that I have on her. Just good amount of speed as a utility, so giving up a good buff, and also, you know, that all ally attack for everyone to burst the enemy waves. Okay, let's go over in the dungeons. We're gonna try out the dragon first. Of course, the dragon is the one that everyone wants to farm the fastest possible. So we're gonna use our defense down and weaken, and then I want to use, like, okay, I want to see how fast we can get this going with her. So Kreela, Skull Crown, and then I want to take her Zargala in there. So this team is going to be huge damage potential, but if something happens, if the enemy wave survives wave 1 and wave 2, then we're going to have an issue. So look at that. Okay, good damage so far. Kreela went with her A1, devastate there, takedown. Skull Crown finally took her turn. And are the enemy teams gonna go? Okay, I haven't seen her all ally attack. I think she used it before on that last wave. Okay, 40 seconds to reach the boss. Not too bad, but of course these are all end game, you know, end game geared characters. So overall in the dungeons, she's not gonna be fantastic because it's a 5-member team, and you want to have an all attack that uses every member. But 4 members is better than, you know, 3 or 2, of course. And I wonder how much time this is gonna take us. I think it's gonna take us about a minute and a half. Maybe if we get an A2 from Royal Guard. Okay. Look at those. The buffs and then the buffs and then the damage she did. I think 30k or 40k there. And that was a good time. 118, a good time for this kind of team. Of course, MVP was Royal Guard. She did 188k with that kind of gear, the speed gear. And Skull Crown in comparison did 345k. Which also counts Kreela's, you know, use of the all ally attack. So let's try her in a bit different setup. Maybe use more free-to-play characters. So let's see. Okay, where's Bellower? I want to use a Bellower in there just for the stuns. Where's my Bellower? I have a Bellower in a stun set. He's great. So this team is nothing crazy. The Kreela is going to be available to anyone who unlocks it. Stagnite is going to be the one that's not going to be available to everyone. Althar is just a poisoner to take down the boss in the end. So let's see how that goes. We've got 2 stuns going right now on everyone just because of Bellower's AoEs. We're doing good so far. No one's taken a hit, a big hit at least. Stagnite has that defense down on him, but he won't get hit at any time. As long as you have Bellower or someone that does an AoE and a stun set, it's just going to be a fantastic way to control the waves. Of course, stun sets are not farmed here. They're farmed in the Fire Knight. So yeah, we should check out the Fire Knight after this just to see, even with the weak affinity, how she performs in there. So yeah, just getting a few stuns always gonna help. I don't think she'll get attacked by anyone because she is magic versus magic. Everyone's gonna try and attack Stagnite instead because he's weak affinity in this fight. So she'll be okay in terms of not getting killed. All ally attack there. See, when you don't have huge AoEs, your team is just gonna take so much longer. But this is a more reasonable team to have fighting the dragon. Maybe Stagnite is not reasonable since not everyone was playing in February when the battle pass was out. So okay, going down. He's going down so slow. 14k there, the crit. Her A3 critted. And then the all ally attack. That's a nice cooldown, by the way. 3 turns. With that huge amount of speed, it means she's going to be rotating through all those skills all the time. Her A3 has a very long cooldown if you don't book it though. So it's 5 turns, goes to 4 turns. And with 250 speed, that 4 turns becomes reasonable. But without 250 speed, like 180 speed maybe, 4 turns can be long for a damage dealing skill. Her pretty much only real damaging skill. Her A1 doesn't do all that, great amount of damage. But she does give a good shield to the lowest member of your team. See Althar there just trying to poison the dragon. This dragon will drop at 3 minutes, hopefully. There we go. Come on. We're going to use a very similar team in the Fire Knight to see if she's actually helpful in there as well, even though she will be weak affinity. Okay, 3 minutes are over, but the poisons will kill the dragon. That's it. Okay, let's go over now to the Fire Knight, guys, and see how she does in there. Instead, when having a weak affinity champion in there. So I'm not going to use these team. So guys, this is the team I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using Zargala as my sole AoE there, Stagnite for that defense down, and Allure, just Allure for that control on the boss. Nobody else has a Terminator manipulation skill. If you haven't seen my Allure video, you should check it out because Allure is a fantastic champion for controlling the Fire Knight boss, and check that video out to see how strong she is. Just Allure and no one else, and it's just fantastic for controlling that boss. Okay, so we're doing well. We're gonna see once we get the first attack on us. Errol is gonna be very annoying here. Almost killed my Zargala there. Okay, as long as Zargala survives, then it's good. We're gonna go through the waves quicker than if she dies, of course. Okay, I just love Zargala in the dungeons, by the way. I used her for a video with Stu and Hades, and I just love how quickly she can go through waves with her A3 and A2. if you got another AoE damage dealer in there as well, you can just go through these waves, both waves in 1 minute. Oh, trying to see that sleep on the targets did not really work. Sleep debuff because the Zerkala went and used her AoE and just took sleep off everyone. So sleep is like a stun, but a stun that gets interrupted if you attack them. So they're kind of sleeping and then they're like, okay, who woke me up? And they take their turn as usual. Okay, 1 minute 30 to go through the waves. Fantastic time, I think. And then let's see how we do here. So Kreela just went for an A1 there, nothing crazy. We couldn't get a reduction on turn meter there. A lure there with a clutch A1. Let's see if we can get another turn with a lure. Oh, I don't think we're gonna get it. No, we didn't get it. Let's see who dies. Nobody died. Okay, good, good, great. Let's get that shield down and okay, all ally attack. Fantastic. Ooh, Allure there going last and getting that decrease in turn meter, which is clutch. I think the best thing to do is always have Allure in the end of your team when you're picking the champions before you go in a fight, because in all ally attack, everyone will take their turn that they're based in the initial setup. So the leader is going to go first always if he gets picked with the all ally attack. And now see guys how easy it is for Allure to control. So Kreela, let's see what she's gonna do. She's buffing everyone. That extra critical rate is gonna be clutch also for Allure in case you don't have her at 100% crit. But I would advise to have her at 100% crit because that A3 on Kreela has a 5 turns cooldown, 4 with the book. So 3 minutes for a solid team. I think this team is solid and would work almost 100%. I think because we have 3 magic champions in this one, we might get a bit unlucky and have, you know, some defeats in there. But yeah, overall she's a good support. I think she would be even better with more damage dealing gear, but also like having some HP as well, because she can get nuked down very easily when she's full damage. And especially in the Fire Knight, if you want to take her in the Fire Knight, she's going to be weak affinity. But Ice Golem, she also needs a bit of HP there just because the Ice Golem hits so hard. Spider, I haven't even tried her in Spider. I don't think she works. She doesn't have anything in her kit that screams Spider's Den. Of course, Dungeons, she's great for that stun overall in the waves, during the waves. With her A2, with a good cooldown, if you reduce it also with a skill book. Overall, I think Kreela is a very good champion to be able to have almost free access to. And I'm saying this as very, very reluctantly because I thought the F2P players wouldn't have, you know, that kind of chance to get her. But an endgame free-to-play player, a player who has, you know, dungeon 16 to 20 should be in a position to get her by the end of this month, by the end of August, because there's so many events. Arium did give us a ton of extra energy and refreshes, and I think all players should be able to get her by the end of everything. So okay, this was the guide guys for Kreela Witch Arm. So the left arm is the witch arm. So thanks a lot guys for watching this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you use Kreela in a different way, please leave it down in the comments below and comment on how you use her differently, what kind of gear you use. If you want to see me use her differently, please leave that also down in the comments. And of course, if you have any more requests for content on this channel, always leave it down in the comments or come over to my Discord to just ask freely about this. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.